We'll are thrilled to have both our speakers, our panelists, our fellows, our team, but also participants from all over the world joining us today. I'm Dr. Joanie Bewa, and I have the pleasure to introduce this segment, and then I will let my team and other co-members take it over. If the tech team can help me have access to the first slide to present the GHID program, that would be amazing. Awesome. So as I was saying, I'm Dr. Joanie Bewa, and I'm the founder of the GHID program, which is the Global Health and International Development Program. I'm a family medicine physician by training, and I'm also a researcher at the University of South Florida College of Public Health. Today, myself and my team, we are very thrilled to launch the GHID program, which is an innovative and fully funded 6-month non-residential fellowship which aims at guiding, connecting, and training the next generation of leaders in global health, in gender, and international development. Our fellows support and lead remote advocacy, research, but also they gain experience on public health, on research advocacy initiative. They're also exposed to training and professional development opportunities, as well as mentoring opportunities. The model that we are following is actually matched with our vision, which is to guide fellows through the leadership journey, to harness the potential, to inspire them to lead positive change in their community, and develop both technical and leadership skills and abilities. Slide. This program has three components. The flagship program as of today is the fellowship, which brings together 3 key components. The first one is a learning institute with monthly lecture series with the aim of building capacities, both technical, leadership, and interpersonal capacities. The second component is the mentoring program, which is a 6-month mentoring model based on skills and content expertise matching. And the third component is project-based, where fellows are engaged in virtual research and advocacy projects. Slide. In terms of eligibility, GHID actually is looking at high-performing early and mid-career professionals with remarkable achievements as well as outstanding impact. We are also looking at individuals between 3 to 10 years experience who have a passion for local and international development, at least a bachelor degree, a citizen of countries in Africa, Europe, or America, between 20 and 35 years old, and commit to spend 5 to 10 hours a week on fellowship activities. Slide. In terms of process, so we've been through a couple of processes so far, from screening our fellows' eligibility criteria to reviewing applications and organizing interviews with all of them. We were blessed enough to have Dr. Teresa Kim, Gianca Reid, myself, and Mr. Joseph Ahisu serving as a jury and panel member to select the 17 finalists. After the final selection process, today we are launching this initiative, and the next step for us is to start the Learning Institute in January, as well as the mentoring program, assign our fellows to impact projects and initiatives run by us or our partners, and also gather at the end of the call through an annual conference. Slide. So who is behind this? Let's watch this short video to kind of be familiar with the faces. Awesome. So you can see a diversity of background and expertise, from communication expertise to public health, but also engaging fellows through a couple of our clusters. So I will continue with the presentation. And we are looking at bringing on board two additional people. That's why we have the questions mark there. Working one in capacity of a program development lead, and another expertise in capacity of partnership and resource mobilization lead. Slide. So today it's all about the fellows. It's all about them. It's all about, those outstanding professionals, early and mid-career professionals who have between 2 and 10 years experience working at the front line of global health, gender equality, and international development. Let's, without any other further comments, let's unveil who are the fellows. Awesome. Because we do actually have the fellows in the room at the moment, and some of them couldn't join because of conflict with either their work or conflict because of time difference, I just want to open the floor very quickly and ask each fellow to unmute themselves and in 30 seconds to remind us their name, their country, and why they decided to apply for the fellowship.
Hi, everyone. My name is Selinam. I'm from Ghana. I recently just moved back to Ghana. I decided to join the fellowship for professional development reasons. I'm currently a research assistant at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research as a national service personnel. I studied international development, public health, and French. So I'm very interested in getting to know a lot of you and working with you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joanna. I am from USA, specifically in the West Coast. So it is about 7:17 a.m. So very bright and early this morning. And I would have to agree that I have joined the Fellowship for Professional Development. I currently carry a bachelor's degree in health science, community health education. I currently work as a public health investigator in a contract position with the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. And just in case, for anyone who does not know, but California, and specifically in the city of Los Angeles, we are hitting a lot of, it's very dire right now with the COVID-19 cases that we are receiving, and especially with hospital beds and being unavailable, less than 1% that we received this week. So, we're pretty much being overworked with my full-time job that I've, been applying myself to be remote. However, I want to be able to do things, in a bigger perspective. So that was my motivation of applying for this fellowship. So I'm very excited to start my morning and be present with you all. So thank you.
Thank you, Joanna.
Hello everyone. Hi, my name is Rachel Newswam, and I was born and raised in South Korea, lived in US, in Seattle, Washington, actually, for about 20 years now. And I decided to join the fellowship because I'm passionate about women's health and development and education, and I just wanted to participate and contribute in a way that I can and learn more, and like Joanna said, just be part of the bigger picture and make an impact internationally.
Thank you so much. Priya?
Hi everyone, I'm Priya Edwards. I'm from the UK. I am currently doing my Masters in Human Rights and Politics at the London School of Economics. And I joined the fellowship because I wanted to do something, again, like others have said, like concrete alongside my Masters and make sure and feel like I was part of a bigger picture and doing something at a time of real chaos internationally. And yeah, I wanted to feel not so removed from my little academic bubble.
Thank you, Priya. Wale?
I'm Wale Huluani. Was born in Nigeria. Presently, I'm in Scotland, working with the United Nations organization as the Health Project Coordinator. I've been passionate about women's health for a number of time, for a long time now, and it's good to be working on this and doing a fellowship with people all over the world. The reason for doing this is to be able to network and be able to utilize the skills and experience that I had in the past to help people, especially women and children. I mean, the girls, adolescent girls, suffering and having a number of difficulties from the problems of global health and development in developing worlds, and especially in regions with in fragile settings. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wale. Lacey?
Everyone, my name's Lacey Kostashek. I'm from the US. I recently just finished my master's in international health, where I developed a passion for women's health, as many of you mentioned, and just sexual and reproductive health in general. And then I recently just started a role as a services evaluator at a domestic violence agency, where that passion has just grown. And I'd really love to use this fellowship as a way to develop my skill set, as well as just to learn more about this topic and see it at an international level as well. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, and I'm really looking forward to working with all of you as well.
Thank you, Lacey. Denise?
Hi, everyone. I joined the program just to gain a broader insight into the world of international health and global development. My background is in government and politics, as well as international development and conflict management. I'm Rwandan and American. I'm actually in Rwanda right now. And I just hope to contribute to the program with as much as I can. I do have a background in research. I did complete a program with Harvard doing project foreign policy document analysis. So hopefully my background with that will be helpful to this program.
Thank you. Charity?
Hi everyone, my name is Charity and I'm originally from Kenya, but I currently live in Canada. I just completed my master's in community health sciences from the University of Manitoba at the Institute for Global Health, and I'm currently a public health officer with the Public Health Agency of Canada. And I joined this program because I'm really passionate about global health. I went through a global health program, and I'm really interested in advocating for equity in global health research and advocating for sustainable solutions in all things global health. Excited to be part of this program. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Kudus?
Hello, everyone. My My name is Kudus. I'm from Benin. First, I joined this program because I like work for non-profit cause, and I find this interest through this program. Second, I like very much connect with other people, and this a reason also. I like more understand the reality on the ground about sustainable development goals. Lastly, I want also learn more about my field. That is communication and international development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Kudos. Eric, please. Okay, let's go to Alice.
Hi, everyone. It's really nice to hear your voices for the first time. I'm Alice, and I work in London promoting sexual and reproductive health in UK Parliament. And I joined the programme because I believe that sexual and reproductive health is fundamental to gender equality all over the world. But I know that there are lots of different challenges and approaches worldwide, so I'm really looking forward to learning from the leaders of the course, but also from all of you in kind of finding new ways to approach sexual and reproductive health. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Obiesh? Obiesh, if we don't have you yet, I would like to move to Abisoye.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abisoye. I live in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm joining the GHID program so that I can collaborate with other researchers around the world to contribute to adolescent health and women development. I love research, and especially I love working with young girls and teenagers, especially because they are vulnerable. I also love to collaborate with other researchers in this program, and also to develop myself professionally. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Bisoye. Folashade?
I'm Folashade Aladishui. I'm a Nigerian. I live in Ibadan, Nigeria. And why I'm part of this program is the opportunity to network with other professionals and to also learn from people who are ahead, and also the opportunity to impact life, just not on a local basis, not locally like in Nigeria, but internationally. The opportunity to do that is why I joined the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We had Eric and Obiesh who weren't able to speak. Are you guys online able to introduce yourself very briefly? Do we have all fellow introduce themselves besides Eric and Obiesh? Okay, great. It sounds like we do. So let me move to the next step of this program with the panel. And I want to introduce our panelists. So we have the honor to have today Mr. Papsam, who is the Global Vice President of Ashoka and Executive Director of Ashoka Africa. Prior to this position, he was the Director of Program and CEO, and was the youngest and first non-American president and CEO of Phelps Stokes Foundation, which actually is America's oldest continuously operating foundation. He's also an adjunct professor and executive in residence at American University School of Public Health. He's a driving force, passionate about youth empowerment, who established and chaired the Global Youth Innovative Network, GHID, with over 6,000 young leaders over 100 countries. We are thrilled to welcome you. Welcome, Mr. Papsam. I will introduce Mr. Benjamin Degachon, who is the Global Campaign Director at Web Campaign. He leads a team of global campaigners in Africa, Europe, and North America to help win the fight against extreme poverty and preventable diseases. He started his career as a consultant on civil society empowerment project in West Africa, then with Peuple Solidaire, Action Aid France, and he developed the online global citizen movement, Avaz.org in France, and launched and led the French branch of the Change.org or Change.org, the global petition platform. Welcome on board. We are thrilled to have you, Benjamin. Dr. Rupa Dutt, Executive Director, Women in Global Health, and she's also a practicing primary care physician in Washington, D.C. She is a passionate advocate for gender equality in global health. Under her leadership, and she's a trailblazer in this area, Women in Global Health has more than 20,000 members in more than 90 countries and continues to grow. She served as a co-chair of Gender Equity Hub in a Global Health Workforce Network and was awarded one of the most influential people in global policy in 2019. Welcome on board, Dr. Rupa. And last but definitely not the least, Miss Min Peace, Senior Community Engagement, the goalkeeper at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The goalkeeper is a catalyst for action toward the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which aims at bringing together leaders from around the world. Previously, she served at Echoing Green, where she created its first impact funding program, building strategic advisory partnership and streamlining founder relations for its social and environmental startup portfolio. She's also played a key role at the Global Impact Investing Network, where she increased effectiveness of institutional investors and foundations. Welcome on board, distinguished speakers, and I would like to invite you to unmute yourself, and then I would like to go back to the first questions. As you've seen, we have in this room talented professionals who are at the front line of global health, gender equality, and international development. We also have attendees who are part of this program and who really want to get to know more about your experience. The reason why we're selecting 17 professionals is our commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals and making sure that we work across sectors. So I would like to start with this first round of questions. Can you please, each of you, take the floor, and I will guide on the order, and share with us and the audience your current work and also 2 lessons that you learned while navigating international development or global health or gender equality. I would like to start with Mr. Papson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks, Joanne, for this opportunity, and thank you also all the fellows, and congratulations for your elections to joining this program. I'm just gonna be quick since we have only 3 minutes. First, to just tell you a little bit more about my work. As Joanne said, I'm actually working for Ashoka, but focusing on Ashoka Africa for 50% of my time, and the other 50 for Ashoka Global. And what we're doing is really we're helping the world through what we call system change, to recognize that everything is changing in this world. And for that, we believe that everyone then must be a change maker. And why we believe that is that Ashoka started in 1981. And at that point, we were focusing mostly on social entrepreneurs. So we go identify social entrepreneurs around the world and said, okay, people can really identify their own problems, then people should be able to solve their own problems. So we did that from the 1980 to 1990. And then from the 1990 to now, we realized that the rate of problem creation is stronger than the rate of solution creation. So if that's really what's happening right now with all the things that we're seeing in this world, inequality, biases, inequitable behaviors, and so on, all the problems in health in international development, then we said if we're just relying on those people who are focusing on social aspects, then it becomes a problem. So we came up with the idea for everyone, a change maker, who said that we need to get to a point that every human being is empowered, is supported to really create solution to this world. That way we will reverse really the trend, which is more people creating solution for problems than more problems being created in this world. And what I really learned from that is two lessons that I learned. The first one definitely is what I would call community-led in international development. That this relationship between the different part and different continent of the world and different culture might be really challenging if we parachuting ideas and solutions from one place or one culture to another's. Given real context that happens on the ground, I really learned through my work, through my career, either GHID, the Global Youth Innovation Network, where we're focusing more on youth work, through Sasha Bruce, which is working with homeless youth here in the US, to today Ashoka identifying social entrepreneurs around the world. What I really learned is community-led will help in anything you do, because the community experience the challenge or the pain or the issues better and well than anybody else. And then the community is really connected to the problem and they have resources they can leverage to address it. Maybe they will need additional capacity like what this fellowship is doing, which is really getting me to the second point, or get a network. So the second learning is that, sorry, anything that we do right now in life, I think that we need to really come up with a framework, and a framework that really could help given COVID that we experience and we still experience right now, with some good news that's happening with the vaccine, that a framework that's based on empathy will definitely help. You know, caring and loving and sympathizing with others will definitely help. Teamwork is also something I think will help with in any framework. There is much to be done in this world and we cannot do it alone, and it's not about our personal satisfaction. Of course, it's helped to be passionate about what you do, and it's really helpful, but also we have to know that we cannot do it alone, and we have to really bring all these people. Another thing that I would say also is that change making is important. You know, we need to challenge the status quo. You know, we grow up with certain things that we already found in this world, but you have to question why this table is square, why this thing happened this way, because maybe there were solutions of all the problems that we don't face anymore because of, like I said, the rate of problem creation. And the last thing that I would say as part of the framework is really a shared leadership. Leadership does not based on a top-down leadership, but a shared, established network leadership. So just to summarize, Joanny, I think community-led is one of the learning. The second thing is having a framework that's based on empathy, teamwork, change-making, and leadership. Thank you.
I really like that, and I think it really resonates where you highlight the fact that you want to create more solutions on problem, but also the whole community ownership. And the goal here is to make sure that our fellows not just are the front line of international development, but they can also bring that change back to the community and locally. So I really appreciate that comment from you. Benjamin?
Thanks, Joanny. Truly honored to be on this panel with amazing fellows. Congrats to all the fellows for being elected. I joined the One campaign 3 years ago as Global Campaigns Director. The organization was founded by Bono and other campaigner back in 2004, and the early work was focused on AIDS and debt cancellation. And over time, we developed a strong campaigning model based on the 5 Ps. Policy, we produce a lot of advocacy policy recommendations. Politics, we have a transpartisan approach. We work with politicians to advance our ask. Public campaigning, we rely on the power of the mass to get our message heard. Public partnerships, we work closely with other organizations to be stronger. And pop culture, we work closely also with celebrities and talents to reach broader audiences. And at the moment, we, as many organizations, we are obviously focused on the pandemic, and we are running a global campaign calling on governments and pharmaceutical companies to contribute to a global response to the pandemic, whether it's securing global access to vaccines as the best way to end the pandemic for everyone, or whether it's securing resources for vulnerable countries so that they can fight against the pandemic, starting with debt suspension and other recovery packages we can obtain. So 2 lessons learned I'd like to share today. First, and I think it will really resonate with what Pat just said, like I do believe that a key driver of change is people power. It's been a driving force behind all social change campaigns. If you look back throughout history, change has come when people have stood up and spoken out. Something that campaigner Ben Phillips reminded us in his recent book, How to Fight Inequality, that I've just finished today, and I highly recommend this book. So in other words, I think that evidence, policy proposals, research, expertise, they are great, important, and fundamental, but not enough to drive change. So to back our facts, to back our advocacy ask, we need ordinary people to come together and little by little, win after win, do extraordinary things together to build long-lasting movement. It's really something I learned throughout my career. And I think we have to admit that many of us in the development sector, in NGOs and other organizations, we are sometimes becoming a bit cozy with the establishment, a bit neutral, weak, elitist sometimes, and not bold enough. And I think to be bold again and more authentic, we really need to reconnect with communities, with people, work with them to shape our campaigns if we want to have a greater impact. And the second learning is about this debate between generalists and specialists. As you all know, there is a growing demand for specialists across industries, whether you're like a data analyst, a machine learning expert, a digital transformation guru. I mean, we need experts, especially during a pandemic. It's been great to have doctors, nurses, health experts to fight the virus and to counter fake news. But I think overall, there is a danger of having specialists only in key positions, because there is a narrow vision of problems sometimes, as if we were missing the broader picture, as many fellows said earlier in this call. The world is becoming interconnected, so we need to talk to different people together to solve complex systemic issues. I'm proud to be both a specialist and a generalist, and I really encourage others to have this kind of double path in their career, to foster greater collaboration between specialists and generalists to understand the complexity of the world.
Thank you, Benjamin. I think you made a very key point about, skills, expertise, and being a specialist versus a generalist. And how do you make sure that you can be both when it is the most needed, right? Have the specialist view on the very cutting edge issue, but also have that broader perspective when it is most required. And I really appreciate you for that comment. I would like to move over now to Rupa, my very dear Rupa. She inspires millions of us in the work that she's doing, at the front line of global health and gender equality. So over to you, Rupa.
Joanne, thank you so much for this invitation. And I just have to say I'm very inspired with what a diverse group that you've brought together. It was so great to hear many of you saying that you are interested in gender equality and women's health and related issues. A bit of background about Women in Global Health is we actually started in 2015, founded by early career women from around the world who found ourselves, again, looking around and saying, well, when you take a look at the field of global health, it is filled with talented women with lots of expertise. 70% of the health workforce are women, but when you take a look at senior leadership roles, those numbers quickly dwindle down to 25%, and in many settings, it's much lower than that. And so we felt very compelled to really launch a campaign around the fact that there is this gap, but really have a solution-focused campaign. And as we were thinking about, how do we approach this issue of gender equality, it was great to hear my colleague Benjamin from One talking about movement. We really felt it was important to be a movement first and an organization after. So for the first few years, we really focused on advocating across every setting in global health and really asking individuals to leverage their spheres of influence and the organizations that they work for and bring them to the table of advancing gender equality in global health leadership. So some of the lessons in this process, particularly coming from a movement perspective, is that particularly values are incredibly important. When we are working in a diverse space as global health, it's critical we know what the values are and how we are all very committed to the values of health equity, but how that plays out in individual interactions as well as organizational partnerships, having common ground and really working toward a shared mission with shared values really helps the work. And particularly in a space like gender equality, where we have so many different people working from many different backgrounds and not always agreeing what and how to make things happen, being grounded in values has been critical. The second thing is really for us, we worked in partnerships. So we did not have, we're not a highly funded organization. We really were volunteer fueled for the first 4 years. And this year we're working in a very small and capacity building grant. But as you can see, the movement has grown to have nearly 25 chapters around the world, over 35,000 supporters. And we continue to, again, really be fueled by the volunteer spirit. But what has held us together is partnerships. And to make partnerships work, it is important to also define what are some key goals and areas that one can work towards. So that's another lesson, is that partnerships are very valuable, but it does take time and effort to set the goals of a partnership to make it actually impactful. And for Women in Global Health, we've partnered with over 200 organizations in the last 5 years, and that's how we've been able to have the type of impact, which has included getting policy change at the World Health Assembly, getting governments to include language on gender responsive approach during COVID-19. I mean, we've been able to achieve this only through partnerships, also making sure that universal health coverage agenda is truly gender responsive. So lessons I'd really encourage all of you is, as you do your important work, make sure that you continue to hold on to your values, because the values define not only who we are, but what we do. And the second is really harness the power of partnerships. Much more can be accomplished when we work together, and that does take an investment of time and sometimes an investment of additional resources. And but in partnership, you can have greater impact. So back to you, Joanny.
Thank you, Opa. I think it's very critical, your comment about partnership, but also how you identify the right players, the right partners to actually, get word across in putting gender equality at the center. And then that's one of the reasons why when I was approached to actually serve as the interim board chair for Women in Global Health with you, I feel like this is a mission that I can identify myself to. And I'm very happy that I made the right decision to join the board. So again, great job to Women in Global Health, and definitely more forward to come. I will go over to you, Min, and I would like to ask you the same question, to tell a little bit about your current work, and also 2 lessons that you learned while navigating the whole spectrum of international.
Sure. So hi everyone. My name is Min. It's great to be here with you all. Great to be on this amazing panel. I'm not sure that I have anything else to add beyond the wisdom that's been already shared. So thank you all. And I'd say for fellows, and looking at your bios and hearing you speak this morning, you are exactly what I needed to end this year on. It's been a hard year, I think, for all of us. And so just to see your drive, your work that you're already doing is incredibly inspirational. So thank you for having us here. So I work on something called Goalkeepers, which Joanny mentioned is an initiative of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The foundation is celebrating its 20th year this year already, and it's really premised on the value that every life has equal value. Goalkeepers is really a catalyst for the Sustainable Development Goals. As you all hopefully know, those were established in 2015 by world leaders to have some audacious goals by 2030 to reduce climate change and poverty, work on gender inequality. And I think, as we all know, this year, COVID has set us back. And so it is just so critical that leaders like you start and continue on this track for international development. So thank you again. I'll just have 2 quick thoughts here on career advice lessons. The first is, when I was thinking about this, there was a quotation that was on the wall of my former office. And it was kind of the first thing I saw when I got in the morning, turned the lights on, and the last thing that I saw after the long day. So I just love to read that to you all because it stuck with me. It's from the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. And it says, there is in you something that waits and listens for the sound of genuine in yourself. Nobody like you has ever been born, and no one like you will be ever born again. You are the only one. And so I think this really talks to what others have said already about values, about listening to your and trusting your expertise. As you go through your career in development, you will find other people. Maybe they'll have fancier credentials. Maybe they will have different expertise than you. And just remember that you are an expert in your lived experience. And so don't shy away from that. Stay with that. The second piece of advice is also to remember that it does take partnership. So again, like others have mentioned, I have never wanted to be the smartest person in the room. I have always wanted to surround myself with people who are smarter than I am, who will push me on my thinking and innovation. So I hope that, as you start your careers and connect with one another as fellows, that you do make those connections along with those skills, because you will be the future leaders of these organizations that you're talking to now as you progress through this fellowship. So just remember that. And then finally, as you do progress, something that I've tried to do is open doors for other people. So I have benefited from people who have taken an informational interview with me or have invited me to an event. And so I really encourage you to pay it forward as you go. Thanks.
Thank you. And I think, some of those advice that you shared can resonate to all of us, and especially surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And for me, that's something I really like to do, and I want to see the smartest people in the room and kind of have them around, the one that have more knowledge, more skills, both soft, interpersonal, and technical skill than myself, because that's what makes a difference. And that's those people, the smartest people in the room, that actually brought together to kind of help, develop GHID, and you've seen the picture. So I'm happy that you highlighted that. So I really want to go back to all of you again. I think this first round of questions kind of gave our fellow a couple of information about where you guys are at, but also some of the key nuances, but also guidance that they need to actually be aware of to navigate the whole international development, global health, and gender equality spectrum. So I would like to start with you, Min. What do you see, or how do you see program like the GHID program, which is actually starting with an inaugural fellowship and have actually other components, fill the gaps that exist currently, both in terms of skills, but also other types of gaps in global health or gender equality or international development? Over to you.
Yeah, thanks. And I'll draw with some thoughts from my former organization, Echoing Green, which is like Ashoka, supports startup social entrepreneurs and change makers. So I think that a program like this is absolutely essential. Goalkeepers has a saying, it's progress is possible, but not inevitable. And I think that's really important for us to remember. The world has made amazing progress in the last decades or so on global health, on gender equality, but we are not there yet. And so we really do need you as the young leaders to step up and help us take it forward. I think that is the call for your generation, is to fix some of the problems that our generations have created. And so I think that the importance of fellowship programs like this as conveners, GHID and others, to convene you, to connect you with elders who have gone before so you can learn from them, train you up on skills, and open their networks to you. I think as fellows, don't forget to not only connect with the leaders who you'll be connected with, but also each other. Again, you are going to know each other throughout your careers. It's a big field, and yet it is not that big. So nurture those relationships. You'll run into each other as you go on and as you make change.
Thank you. Thank you. Without any other transition, I would like to ask the same question to Rupa.
Thank you, Joanne. And just again, building on what's already been said, really agree with my co-panelist here. One of the gaps that we really see in global health, and especially global health leadership, is the diversity of perspectives from people from different geographies. A recent report that was released earlier in this year showed that when you take a look at global health leadership from looking at over 200 organizations, less than 5% of those leadership roles, being particularly CEOs, are held by women from lower middle income countries. So too often global health agenda is being set by people that are not from majority of the world's population or some of the toughest issues that we're trying to address. So at Women in Global Health, we're very committed to challenging power and privilege for gender equity in global health leadership. But I see this particular program filling that gap, and I do think we need many more programs like this to really bring diverse perspectives and really make sure that we are engaging the talent pool, talent pipeline that's coming through global health as the interest grows for global health around the world, and making sure that fellows like you are shaping the global health agenda, setting the research agenda, filling the research gap, but also going beyond research and getting to influence policy and decision making that's happening at all the different levels. And so really hoping this community not only can network build within, but looks to connect with other networks of other youth leaders and emerging leaders, and hopefully the more seasoned leaders around there also start connecting the dots. And I sort of am turning to my co-panelists to say, how can we that are connected to some other networks really say, how do we connect the next generation a lot more? Too often we silo the next generation into just connecting with each other, and they actually have such amazing ideas. All of you are already doing great work. So I see, there is a responsibility for those of us that are connected to established networks to connect the dots a little bit more. And then other aspects I'd say is that, you are also a group that is has the mindset of already breaking down silos. It's not something that you have to adopt and learn. Many of the people that have been in global health come from international health or tropical medicine. They come into it already with siloed thinking, and they're trying to learn systems thinking. They're trying to break down silos as a new way of doing business, whereas all of you, that's the foundation that you are building your understanding of this field. So you have a lot to contribute, and we all need to learn from you. So really see, a network like this redefining and creating some of foundational work really in this space. So I think there's a lot, and thank you for creating this, to those that have supported it, and really hope to work with all of you and invite all of you to connect with Women in Global Health as we work on gender equality.
Absolutely. This is received as an invitation, and I will make sure to act up on that. Thank you so much, Rupa. Benjamin?
Yeah, I swear it was not prepared, but I think we have very much the same recommendation. But I think this program is really spot on. You are creating connection, and it's really what we need at the moment. This program can help break silos internally and externally, help build bridges between organizations, researchers, experts, helping find this common ground. But we need to address issues which are interconnected. If you take poverty, inequality, health, climate change, we need help to have a systemic change happening, and it's really what this program can help with. And I think it's also the importance of continuous learning, looking for new trends, testing new things, how you can adopt an entrepreneurial approach to social change in everything you do. And finally, I think you need to trust your creativity, because we're going to need people like you to build new stories, new narratives, to show what's possible, and to paint a picture of a more equal world, to convince others to join the movement. So again, as Over said, really happy to be in touch and work with all of you on this program.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. And just to piggyback on that, I really like that, the diversity. We have fellows from 3 continents from now, and a fellow who has origin from the 4th continent. So really that diversity, bringing together, something we are really keen into, but also having a gender balance. We also have a language diversity, as you've seen, French speaker, English speaker at least, and other languages. But also I think something I haven't mentioned is that we have two tracks. We have the research track, where some of our fellows are really into helping to build evidence or generate evidence or bring evidence, existing evidence together. And then we have the policy and advocacy track, where some of the issues that needs to have some visibility will actually be championed. So I really like the fact that you bring all that together and talked about interconnected link. And to come back to one point that Rupa made, we've seen how gender equality is at the core of everything, both global health, climate, entrepreneurship, international development. And I think now we do not want to wait 108 years to see gender equality achieved. And I'm really happy that we can continue this conversation between GHID and Women Global Health and other partners like One in Ashoka. And then without any transition, let me go back to Pap and hear your insight about that.
Thank you. I think, Joanne, like my fellow speakers already said, they pretty much said everything or a lot of things here. I think where I see that this initiative can help build the next generation of leaders, so just addition to what has already been said. The first thing for me is, I think you're already doing it, which is the fellowship. And I think this is where you can help build a network, build a community, build an ecosystem, and build a movement. And doing this through really providing them with more capacity, providing them with new connections, especially among each other, and really sharing learning and sharing expertise. The second thing I think I would really suggest, I think Benjamin kind of mentioned some of that a little bit, which is developing a learning journey. So the fellows really can expose themselves to new trends, to new situations, to new reality. And this can be done through visiting the different partner organizations here, visiting other organizations, going through different culture, exposing, getting themselves out of their comfort zone, because that will make them see different reality and different context and new trends. Because now trends and patterns are something that we need to implement to better understand what's happening. And more, the learning journey can help anticipate where the world is going, where we're going to be in the next 5 years, next 20 years, next 15 years. That's really what this next generation of leaders, I think, and I even like better this generation of leaders, because I don't see them as next, they're already in the situation. So I like better this generation of leaders anticipating what the world will go. And the third thing that I would really suggest is co-creation workshop for collective impact. You are elected individually as fellows, but you can collectively work together to create collective impact. And I think part of the design was to identify fellows from across the 17 SDGs. So some of those SDGs, or most of them, can work together. You can link youth employment to gender, you can link agriculture to gender, all of those things can happen. Agriculture and international development and health, all of those are linked. So working collectively to create collective impact, which is the partnership I think you mentioned, and all of the Benjamin also mentioned. Partnership is key, collective impact is key. And we know that whatever affects one country, one person could be affected everybody. That will help us think about, or the fellows think about, more of a common agenda, a more holistic approach to mutually reinforce each other. That really, those are the few things that I would recommend and suggest. Thanks again, and this is really exciting to see it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pap, Benjamin, Rupa, and Min. We are right on time to actually close this session, but I know there are 1 or 2 questions that are burning. So let me take one question from the audience and one question from the panelists, the fellows. If any fellow has a burning question that they want to ask, please unmute yourself, and in 10 seconds, please go straight to the question. The fellows or the team?
I'll ask one if that's okay. Hi, it's Alice here. Just wondering what you all think will be kind of the next kind of big global health issue, or the 3 biggest global health issues in the next 25 years.
I love that question. Over to you, dear panelists.
This is definitely a really challenging one because there's just so much to be done. One of the top issues that is really resonating with everyone is really looking at the interconnectedness across all of the global health issues. We talk about planetary health. Sometimes we refer that to as One Health. That is really bringing in the work of addressing climate change issues, but also the more broader aspects of global health and the interconnectedness with broader health equity. So I'd say that's like the number one. The second thing is we are clearly talking about health security in the pandemic, and this is something that's going to continue to rise in priorities as we look at more emerging diseases and issues such as antimicrobial resistance growing, issues with MDR, TB. But what I'd like to say is that all of this health security agenda should really come back to what we've called for in last year with universal health coverage being a top priority when the high-level political meeting took place at the UN General Assembly and a political declaration was passed. And too many of the world's population right now does not have access to affordable, quality health, and that is a top priority. And I couldn't say my top three without mentioning that gender equality continues to be a top priority. Current estimates say that it will take us at least 100 years. Some estimates have said it's going to take us 200 years to achieve gender equality. And gender equality is not just about women, it's about everyone in all genders, and it affects men as much as women. And there's just so much to be done in this, and this needs to remain a top priority, especially if we want to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal agenda. Back to you.
Absolutely. Do the other speakers want to make a specific point?
Super quick, what we are experiencing right now around vaccine and this vaccine nationalism, the fact that rich countries have about half of the dose available for treating the virus is very scary. If we are not able to create a precedent with this pandemic in terms of global response, what will happen the next time we have a pandemic? If the same reaction happens, so could be also something that we show across diseases, but being able to create this sense of the need for a global response is something we need to really secure this time if we want to avoid it in the future.
Okay, great. Anything else from our distinguished panelists before we conclude this section? No. Okay, I really want to make sure that we stay on time, and I want to thank the audience for attending. First, the team who did an incredible job. This is a team effort, and it would not have worked without you. So I appreciate the communication lead, the fellow engagement associates, the communication and marketing team as well, for as well as our policy research and advocacy associate for the incredible work. Thank you all speakers for presenting today what you think is important for fellows to know, but also emerging issues in global health, in gender and international development. I also want to thank the attendees. I've seen a lot of great names that I remember here, from the folks from USF, from the folks from the Gates Foundation, and other colleagues here as well as other colleagues from Women in Global Health. I can't cite everyone's name, but I just want to say thank you. But before we leave, please follow us on social media, our GHID program, hashtag GHID, and please feel free to email us for any other follow-up information. Of course, we are open to collaborate and expand, this program and kind of collaborate with new partners. So we are really looking forward to actually get in touch. This for now, and I have to say that the GHID program is going to run for at least the first year and second year of operation under the Young Beninese Leaders Association, but with the goal of becoming sustainable and have its own staff and its own infrastructure. So until then, we're really looking forward to have you on board and develop partnerships and see how we can work together between you and with GHID. And our fellows are there, and they'll be more than happy to be connected with each of your institutions. Let's just get in touch and again make this work and make this happen. The fellowship program is the first of many activities. That's why it's called a program. Thank you all distinguished speakers. Thank you participants. Thank you fellows. Thank you team. And I wish you a great rest of your day. Let's follow the conversation online. Let's tweet, retweet, and make this conversation continue. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.